Namaste. We will start the class with the Prarthana Shloka. Gurureva gatihi gurumeva bhaje gurunaiva sahasmi namo gurave na gurov paramam shishurasmi guroho matirasti gurau mama pahi guro. Saraswati namastestu veena pustakadharini hamsavahanamaarudhe vidyadanam kurushvame. Hope my screen is visible and my voice is audible. Can some Ashok Mahodaya, can you confirm if my voice is audible? Please unmute yourself. Aruna Mahodaya, can you hear me properly?
Yeah, I can hear you. If you can speak loud, it will be better, but it is clear.
Astu. Dhanyavada.
Dhanyavada.
You can stay on mute. Thank you. So, Hal Sandhi Punaravarthanam. So, we were seeing last week, we saw 3 sandhis. One was Jashtva, Shchutva and Shtutva. So, Jashtva sandhi, Swaraha athava Mriduvyanjanam Paravaranaha Bhavati, and Purva Varana, any of the Vargiya Vyanjana without or except the Varga Panchama. Yes, is there some problem with my audio? Jai Shri Bhagini. Okay, then so that in Jashtva Sandhi you have the Varga Tritiya as the third letter of the Varga is the Adesha in the place of the Vargiya Vyanjanam, which is a Purva Varana. So this is when a Swara or Mridu Vyanjana follows. Same way we have the Shchutva and the Shtutva Sandhi. We saw for both these Sandhis you have sets of letters, right? So you have Sakara or Tavarga letters coming in yoga with Shakara or Chavarga in the case of Shchutvam, or Shakara, the Mudanya Shakara and Tavarga letters in the case of Shtutvam. Fine, in both Sandhis the Sthani is the same, either Sakara or the Tavarga letters. So in Shtutva, Sakara gets converted to Shakara, the Talavya Shakara, Tavarga letters into corresponding Chavarga letters. In Shtutva Sandhi, the Sakara is replaced with the Murdhanya Shakara and the Tavarga letters with Tavarga letters. Okay. Fine. So we will see the next Sandhi is Anunasika Sandhi. So we will continue with the Patha. So Anunasika Sandhi is covered in the lesson 21 of your Pustaka. Okay. So don't worry, people who do not have Pustaka, not to worry. We will be covering all the examples and the Abhyasa, whatever is there in your Pustaka will be covered in the class. So we'll see the rule for Anunasika Sandhi. So Anunasika Varanaha. So what are Anunasika Varanas? So they are the Varga Panchama. Nya, Nga, Nya, Na, Na and Ma. Okay, the first all the 5 Vargas, fifth letter. The fifth letter of all the 5 Vargas, they are called as the Anunasika Varana. This will be the Adesha. In Anunasika Sandhi, Adesha is your Anunasika Varana. When the Paravarana is Anunasika Varana. Okay, so here the Paravarana is Anunasika Varana and the Purva Varana is any of the first 4 letters of the Varga. Okay, so any of the first 4 letters come in yoga with the Paravarana. The Anunasika Varana, the Varga Panchama. Then the Anunasika Varana will be the Adesha in the place of the Purva Varana. Okay, the first 4 letters, when they are followed by the 5th letter, the first 4 will tend to get converted into the 5th letter of that corresponding Varga. When you see examples, you will understand. Before that, this Sandhi is a Vikalpa Sandhi. Ityukte, so this Adesha is a Vikalpa Adesha. So either you can, you wish to replace the letter with the fifth letter you do, otherwise you leave it like that only. So you will have two forms, two valid forms. One is with the Anunasika letter. Okay, when you do the sandhi, you replace it with the Anunasika letter. The other one, because you have a mridu vyanjana as a paravarna, you can do the jashtva here. Okay, so you will have two rupas, one with Anunasika varna, and if you don't do the Anunasika sandhi, because it is a vikalpa sandhi, the rule is a vikalpa rule. So if you don't do it, then you because of the presence of mridu vyanjana as paravarna, you can do the jashtva sandhi. Okay, so two rupas you will have. So we'll see example. We will take a kavargiya letter as a purva varna, and when it comes in yoga with in or im, so we will see examples for these two letters. In that case, what happens? The kavarga, the purva varna, will get converted into varga panchama, its own corresponding varga panchama, because it is followed by the varga panchama. Okay, so in or im is the fifth letter, Anunasika varna. So since it is followed by Anunasika varna, you replace the previous letter into the fifth letter of that corresponding varga. If you don't do that, if you say you are not replacing it with the Anunasika letter, then the jashtva happens. So you have to replace it with the third letter, which is gakara. So adesha will be in the place of kavarga letter, it will be ngakara, which is a letter of kavarga, or by jashtva you can do the third, you can use the third letter as the adesha, the gakara. So dik plus nagaha. So dik plus nagaha, so you have a vargiya vyanjanam as a purva varna followed by Anunasika letter, which is nakara, nagaha. Nakara is Anunasika. The nimitta is in blue color. Okay, nimitta in the sense because of the presence of which this sandhi is happening, that is nimitta. So you have the sthani kakara and nimitta nakara. So when you do the Anunasika sandhi, what happens? Dik becomes ding. Okay, so ding nagaha. So if you don't do it, so if you don't do the adesha of Anunasika letter, then you do the jashtva, which is dignagaha. Okay, so you will have two valid forms, dignagaha athava dingnagaha. Then prak plus mukhaha. So when you have kakara followed by a makara, which is again a Anunasika letter, so we'll have prang mukhaha. So with the Anunasika sandhi, you have the kakara replaced with the fifth letter, ngakara. Prang mukaha is one rupa. Otherwise, the jashtva rupa, prag mukaha. Okay, kakara with the third letter, gakara. So prag mukaha. Then we have a tavarga example, letter from the tavarga. So here bibhrat plus naraha. So you have the takara followed by the Anunasika letter, which is the nakara. So you can either replace it with the fifth letter of tavarga, which is anakara, right? So bibhrannaraha, bibhrannaraha, athava you do the jashtva. If you don't do the Anunasika adesha, you go with the jashtva sandhi. So bibrad naraha. So you will have the takara with replace with the dakara, bibrad naraha. Then we have shat plus masaha. So shat plus masaha, again takara followed by Anunasika varna. When you do the Anunasika sandhi, it will be shanmasaha, shanmasaha, athava jashtva sandhi, shadmasaha. Both forms are valid forms. Shanmasaha athava shadmasaha. Okay. Then we have the third example, tavarga letter with na or ma. So jagat plus nathaha. So jagat takara followed by the Anunasika letter na. So you replace takara with the fifth letter varga panchama, which is nakara. So you have jagannathaha, jagannathaha. Athava you don't do it, you do the jashtva sandhi. So jagadnathaha, jagannathaha athava jagadnathaha. So Jagannatha is, we commonly hear in Vyavahara, we hear a lot Jagannatha, but this is also a valid form. Jagannatha is also a valid form. Bhavat plus matam. So you have Bhavat plus matam, takara followed by makara, Anunasika letter. So takara gets replaced with the fifth letter of the varga, which is nakara. So bhavanmatam, bhavanmatam. Otherwise, you do the jashtva, which is bhavad, the dakara. Dakara will get replaced with the third letter, dakara. So bhavadmatam, bhavadmatam. Okay, then we have the pavarga letter followed by na or ma. So pavarga. Kakup plus nayakaha. Kakup plus nayakaha. So you have the pakara followed by the nakara, which is varga panchama. So you have pakara replaced with the last letter of the pavarga, which is makara. So kakum nayakaha. Kakum nayakaha. Athava, the pakara is replaced with the third letter, jashtva. So kakubnayakaha. Kakubnayakaha. Then we have up plus mahaha. So up plus mahaha. So here again, when you do Anunasika Adesha, it will be ammahaha. Pakara is replaced with the fifth letter of the pavarga, ammahaha. Otherwise, it is the Jashtva Sandhi. Pakara replaced with the third letter, which is abmahaha. Abmahaha. Now, so we saw this is a Vikalpa Sandhi, and you can have two rupa, one with the Anunasika Varna as Adesha, the other one with the Jashtva Sandhi as Adesha. Now, for certain cases alone, this Sandhi is a Nitya Sandhi. So, we will see what it is. Makaradi pratyeye pare Anunasika Sandhihi Nityaha Ataha Ekameva Sadhu Rupam. So, for special cases where you have a Makaradi pratyaya. Okay, so we saw that the second word should start with the letter which is a Anunasika letter. Now, in Samskrita, you know that 95% of all the words, they are formed, okay, from some base word when they are suffixed with some pratyaya. When you add some suffix or a pratyaya to them, okay, so it's just that two Prakriti and a Pratyaya come together and you get the final word. Say, for example, you say Ramabhyam or Ramena, Ramam. How do you arrive at these words? So, there is one base word Rama and you add some Supratyaya. Okay, so you add some Pratyaya. There are a lot of different kinds of Pratyayas. So, you add the Supratyaya and you come up with 21 forms of Rama. Okay, so there is always a Mula word and then a Pratyaya is added to it, and this is how you come up with 95% of the words in the language. So almost all the words or 95% of the words are like this. You break them down, you will have a base word, you will have a Pratyaya there. So now he says if there is a Makaradi Pratyaya, if there is a Pratyaya which starts with Ma. Okay, so we have only two examples. One is Matram. Okay, so Matra is a pratyaya in Vyakarana. Okay, so matra is a pratyaya. It is added to a word in some sense to, okay. So we will not worry about that. But matra is a pratyaya. Okay, so it's the name of a pratyaya. Like we say supratyaya, ting pratyaya, we have san pratyaya, we have lot tadita pratyayas. There are a lot of pratyayas. So this matra is one such pratyaya and it starts with the Anunasika letter ma. Right? So now when you do the Anunasika Sandhi, so when you have tat plus matram, in this case it is always tan matram. You have to do the Anunasika Sandhi. You can't have a form which is tad matram like we saw in the previous cases. So previous cases we saw some word starting with makara or nakara, but here it is a specific word which is a pratyaya. Matra is a pratyaya in Vyakarana. Right? So, when you add a pratyaya which is starting with an Anunasika letter, then you will have to do this Sandhi compulsorily. It is not an optional Sandhi for those cases alone. You only have three examples you can remember. So, two pratyayas are only covered, Matram and Maya. The second one is Maya. Maya is a pratyaya. So, up plus Mayam. Up plus Mayam. You will have Ammayam. Only one rupa, Ammayam. You will not have Abmayam. Okay, so this is because matra and maya, these are two pratyayas in Vyakarana. Okay, so there are some pratyayas meaning suffix, some suffix. Okay, so when you have a suffix starting with makara coming in this while you do the Anunasika Sandhi, in that case the Anunasika Sandhi is compulsory. You can't have the Jashtva Rupa like you saw in the previous cases. So, chid plus mayam, again mayam, we saw the mayam with appu plus mayam. Here again the same pratyaya. So, only two pratyayas you will have to remember, matra and maya. So these are the two pratyayas. When you do Anunasika Sandhi, when these words are para words, then it is compulsory. Otherwise, in all other cases, it's an optional Sandhi. You can have two forms. Either you can have one with Anunasika letter, or you can also have the other one with the Jashtva letter. Okay, so Jashtva Sandhi. So Chid plus Mayam, Chinmayam is the only form, valid form. You should not use Chidmayam. It is not allowed. Okay, so Matra and Mayam should be remembered. These two Makaradi Pratyayas. Then we will take this example now. Shat plus Navatihi. So when we have Shat plus Navati, you have the Tavarga letter followed by the Anunasika letter. But can we do the Anunasika Sandhi first? No. We will first do the Jashtva. As I told you when we did Chutva, you have to remember always when you see a Mridu Vyanjana or a Swara, check for the possibility of Jashtva Sandhi. If there is a possibility that Jashtva can happen, then it should only be done first. Okay. So Shat plus Navatihi. So there you have the possibility of doing the Jashtvam. So we will first do the Jashtva. So we have Shad plus Navatihi. Now again Dakara in yoga with Nakara. So go back Shtutva rules. If you see, the Shtutva rule will apply here. Right? So you have the Nakara, which is Tavarga letter, coming in yoga with the Tavarga letter. So you can do the Shtutva Sandhi. So we will do the Shtutva again. Shad plus Navatihi. Right? You are replacing the Tavarga letter with the Tavarga letter. Right? So Tavarga Nakara changes into Tavarga Nakara. Now you have this possibility for Anunasika Sandhi. Nakara is a Anunasika letter. You have a Vargiya Vyanjana as a Purva Varna. Then we do the Anunasika Sandhi. We come up with the word Shannavatihi. Shannavatihi, right? So we know the Shannavati Tarpana. You might have heard, right? So Shannavati, you will arrive at the right form only if you do the Sandhis in order. So now that you have to remember, Jashtva Sandhi has to be done first, and then Shtutva or Shtutva, and then only you come for the Anunasika Sandhi. Okay, so whenever you have a Mridu Vyanjana or a Swara following, okay, so whenever you have a Mridu Vyanjana particularly, Mridu Vyanjanam when you have, first do the Jashtvam, if it is possible, do the Jashtva, and then look for the conditions of Shtutva or Shtutva. So when you have a Sakara or Tavarga on one side, there is a possibility that you can do the Shtutva or Shtutva. If it is if there is a possibility, do that and then do the Anunasika Sandhi. Okay, so this is the order: Jashtvam, Shtutva or Shtutva, and then you go for the Anunasika Sandhi. Okay, so that only then you will arrive at the right word Shannavati. If you directly do it, the Anunasika Sandhi at the first step only, you will end up with the wrong form. Okay, so this is important: Jashtvam and Shtutva and then Shtutva and then Anunasika Sandhi. Now, Anunasika Sandhi kutra na bhavati. So, where is it that you can't do? For example, you saw this word Yach plus Na in your previous Shtutva example. If you remember, we did this in the Shtutva Sandhi Patha. Yach plus Na. Okay, so there. So, we did the Shtutva Sandhi. Okay, so Yach plus Nya. Okay, so we did Yach plus Nya. Then we arrived at the word Yachnya. So this Yachnya is a single word, a pada. Okay, it's a complete pada. Yachnya is a complete pada, whereas this Yach and Na are the parts of it. Say this Na is a pratyaya, so sitting on that Mula word Yach or something. So we will not worry about that. So finally, what is that single word is Yachnya. So here, now can you do the Anunasika Sandhi is the question. So can we have Yachu plus Nya? Then okay, so there is a Anunasika letter following. Can I replace this Chakara with Nyakara, the fifth letter, and end up with the word Yangnya or something? No, this is not a valid form. Yangnya is not right. Why we should not do Anunasika Sandhi here is Anunasika Sandhi Padante eva bhavati. This you should remember. So there are 2 points about Anunasika Sandhi. I will summarize later. This is one of that. Anunasika Sandhi should happen only at the end of a word. It should be a complete word. So Yach and Nya is not a Yach is not a complete word. Na is not a complete word. Right? So it's not a a pada. It is with this yachanya sandhi is happening within a single pada. So inside a single pada, you can't do the Anunasika Sandhi. Anunasika Sandhi padante eva bhavati. Padanta means at the end of a pada. Padasya anta is padanta. So only at the end of a pada you can do the Anunasika Sandhi. Apadante naiva bhavati. So apadanta means in between a pada. Okay, so yachnya is a pada, and in between that yachnya you can't do the Anunasika Sandhi. Apadante naiva bhavati. This we should remember. So you stop with this Chutva Sandhi, which is yachnya is the valid form. Okay, so this nya is not a, you can't apply Anunasika Sandhi in this case, okay, because it is not a complete pada. So we'll see a few examples. So to summarize those two important points is, one is you don't do it within a word, within a single word, never do Anunasika Sandhi, okay. And second thing, it is Nitya in the case of Pratyaya which is starting with Makara, and other places it is optional. You either have the Adesha of the Anunasika Varna or you can have the Jashtva form, okay. So this is all about Anunasika Sandhi. So we'll see some shloka examples. Vaikarika staidasascha tamasaschetyaham trivrit tanmatendriya manasam karanam chidachinmayaha. So this is so we have the word tanmatra. Okay, so tanmatra plus indriya manasa. So tanmatendriya manasa. So here tad plus matra. Okay, so tad plus matra, we do the Anunasika Sandhi. So we'll have tanmatra. Then chid plus mayaha, chinmayaha, again Anunasika Sandhi, chinmaya. So for both these cases it is sandhis nitya. You see have the maya, right? So we saw that. Then tasya loka pradhanasya jagannathasya bhupate vishnor nama sahasram me shunu papa bhayapaham. So here jagannathasya, so jagat plus nathasya, jagannathasya. Then we have yachreyasyan nishchitam bruhi tanme shishyasteham shadhi mam tvam prapannam. This is a part of shloka from the Bhagavad Gita. It was big, so I only took the last part. So syat plus nishchitam, syat plus nishchitam, syan nishchitam. Okay, so here you have the Anunasika Sandhi because Anunasika letter is following. Okay, so this is all about Anunasika Sandhi. So we will see few abhyasa. You can raise your hand. Yes, someone has already raised. 1 second. Yes, Sriram Mahoday.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, I can.
Okay. Before we start, I have a question. Can you go to that previous
Yes.
PowerPoint? Yes. There, in the very first example, is that should that be tat sandhi becomes tad sandhi tad, and then you get the tad tanmatra.
I didn't get your question.
I'm sorry. Okay, you in the right side you have tad plus
Tad plus matra. Yes.
matra, right? Should that the word is that tat or tad is the question.
Okay. Okay. So tat here tad is the pratipadika, so I took that form. So tad is the base word, which will, so you have the tat shabda, tat tatte tani, you might have learned it, right? The tad is that base word, so I took the base word tad plus matra.
Okay.
If they specifically give you tat plus matra, in that case, yes, you can do the jashtva and then come to the Anunasika Sandhi. As I told you, jashtva.
But otherwise you can take it as tad.
Tad, yes, I took the tad.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. That was my question. Thank you. Okay. Now the abhyasa.
Yes, you can do the abhyasa. You can all raise your hands. I can call you one by one. So samyak. Okay. So this is all the 4 sandhis, not just Anunasika. Jashtva, Shrutva, Shrutva, anything. Okay.
Samyak uttamam. So samyag uttamam. Uttam. Sorry.
Yes.
Samyag uttam, and then kim na.
No,
that would
one
be
is enough. I will give chance to
okay.
everybody so that
Samyaguttam would be Jastva Sandhi.
Jashtva Sandhi, right. So Samyaguktam is the answer. So that Jashtva Sandhi. Yes. So Sri Ram Mahoday. You have answered. Sorry. Aruna Mahoday.
Kim plus na. Kinna.
Yes. So Kinna, here the Sandhi name.
Anunasika.
Anunasika Sandhi. Kim plus na Kinna. Okay. Ashok Mahoday. I don't know. I think you are not able to unmute, or I am not able to unmute you. I am not able to unmute you. Okay. I'll come back to you. I'm not able to unmute you for some reason. Jayashree Mahoday. Okay. Shyamala Mahoday. There's a few people I'm not able to unmute it.
Namaste Mahodaya.
Namaste. Dik plus Murkha.
Dik. You gave Murkha. Dik Murkha. Tatra.
Dik.
Just Sandhi.
Tavadeva va? Only just what can happen there, or?
Murkha, no? Otherwise, Ding
Murkha, yes.
Because Anunasika Sandhi also will come into force there.
Yes.
So Ding Murkha or Dig Murkha.
So Ding Murkha.
Dhanyavadaha.
Dig Murkha.
Dvayamapi sadhu.
Ubayamapi sadhu. Yes.
Dhanyavad.
Mahoday. Yes, so the answer, please stay on mute. Raghavan Mahoday. Sat plus Matihi.
Sat Sanmati.
Sanmatihi. Exactly.
Sadmati.
Sadmati by Jashtva Sandhi. Sanmati, Sadmatihi. Yes. Please stay on mute. Mahalakshmi Bhagini. Okay. Sri Ram Venkatesh Mahodaya. Shat plus Mukhaha.
Shat plus Mukhaha. Shat plus Mukhaha, Shadmukhaha by the Jashtva Sandhi and Shanmukhaha by Anunasika Sandhi.
Sorry, I called you Mahodaya. Sri Ram, I should remember. Okay, right. So Shanmukha or Shadmukha. Fine. Then we have few more. We will quickly do it. Ranjani Bhargava Mahoday.
Vag plus Mayam. Vagmayam by Jashtva Sandhi or Vangmayam by Anunasika Sandhi.
No, Mayam, I told you, remember Mayam and Matra.
Acha, so it will be only Vagmayam, not Vagmayam.
Yes,
no just
Vangmayam. Correct. Okay, so Mayam, remember Mayam and Matra. Yeah, you have Vangmayam.
Vangmayam. Okay, thank you.
Okay, I know some people I'm not able to unmute it. Prakash Mohini Bhargava Mahoday. Twak plus
Mansi. Twak Mansi, Jashtva and Twang Mansi.
Anunasika, yes. Dr. Shri Bhas Mahoday. I don't hear you. You're speaking. Shat plus Navatihi.
Shat Navati. Shan Navati. Anunasika Sandhi. Shadnavati. Jashtva Sandhi.
Shannavatihi. Okay, I have written only one rupa here.
Shadnavati.
Shannavati. Okay.
Jashtva
Shannavati
Sandhi.
I have not read. I have not added. I will add it, sir. Shannavati. Yeah, I'll add.
Okay.
You can stay on mute. Vaidehi.
Both will come, no?
Yeah. Vaidehi Mahoday. श्रूयते वा? हा.
Sorry. Twadnitihi. Twannitihi.
So you will have two rupa, twadnitihi, twadnitihi and twannitihi. Sorry. Okay. Then the last one, Arnab Mahoday. Sorry. Yes, Arun.
Samyak plus vadati, samyak vadati.
Samyak vadati. What is the sandhi?
Jashtva sandhi.
Jashtva sandhi. Okay. So please stay on mute. So if you have any questions, you can ask. Otherwise, we can go to the next sandhi. The last one. Lower all your hands. If you have doubts, please raise your hand. Otherwise, we can continue.
Samyak vadati
Is Jashtva sandhi. Jashtva sandhi.
Samyak Jashtva sandhi also will come, no?
Jashtva sandhi only. What other sandhis? There is no other sandhi.
Anunasika sandhi?
There is no Anunasika letter. No, Vakara is not an Anunasika letter. Only if you have a Paravarna, which is an Anunasika letter, you can do the Anunasika sandhi.
Oh, Mriduvanjanam not.
No. It should be the Varga Panchama.
Panchama. Thank you.
Astu. Okay, so we'll continue. 1 second, let me check the question answers. Okay, printout is corrupted. I don't know. I'll check with my team. Can you please share the previous Abhyasa? Abhyasa, this will be posted. This slides, everything will be posted. Don't worry. Okay, so that's fine. Okay, we have some more. Okay, so splitting Abhyasa. We'll do this also. So sun plus manam. Sun manam. Now you will have to split. Okay, so splitting will need some familiarity with the words. Initially, it could be difficult for few, but it will. You will get the hold of it. Don't worry. Okay, so we'll do the splitting. Sanmanam. Sriram.
Sad manam sanmanam. Anunasika sandhi.
Yes, so here it's Sat plus Manam, Anunasika Sandhi. Sorry. Sat plus Manam. Okay, then it becomes Sad Manam, then San Manam. Fine. Then the next one, San Margaha, Shyamala Mahoday.
Sat plus Margaha, Sat Margaha. Same, it is Anunasika Sandhi.
Yeah. You are able to mute, unmute yourself or no? I think no, right?
Pannagaha.
Okay.
Pannagaha.
Pannaga.
Plus Nagaha.
Pat plus Nagaha, Pannagaha. Right. So Pat plus Naga, Anunasika Sandhi. Then, okay. Jai Shri Mahoday.
Kit plus na.
Kit plus na. Kim plus na. Sorry, it's not kit.
Kim plus na.
Kim plus na is kin. Right. Then Mangala Mahoday. Nagaraj.
Tvat plus Namaskaraka.
Correct. So Tvat plus Namaskaraha, Tvan Namaskaraha.
Pratama Tvat Anantaram Tvat.
Yeah. Yes. Then Padmavati Bhagini.
Kimnaha. One example was that.
Kimna is Kim plus na. Kim plus na, Kinna.
Anunasika Sandhi.
Anunasika Sandhi, yes.
Oh.
Yes, Jai Shri Bhagini.
But in Kim, excuse me, in Kim Nagaha,
it is Pavargana. So how is na coming?
Where?
Ma is already Anunasik. So why is it, this is Ramunagama.
Okay. Yeah. This shouldn't be coming here. Or probably the word is written wrongly. I will check this. That's right. You don't have the Varga Panchama. It should be one of the 4 letters.
Yes.
I'll check this.
Yes.
Probably the word is copied wrongly from the Pustaka. I'll correct it and post it. Okay.
Dhanyavad.
So, yeah, Dhanyavad. This is not a Namudagama again. It's not Namudagama. I'll check. It's Parasavarana. Fine. There is Anuswara Sandhi and then Parasavarana Sandhi. Probably the word is not right. I will check that. Then Syannadi Matrikaha. Syannadi Matrika. Someone can unmute. I think you're able to unmute yourself. You can unmute and speak. One of you, please. Yes. Syannadi Matrikaha. Yes, Jai Shri Bhagini. Someone, any of you can answer.
Yeah, Syad Nadi Matrikaha.
Yes, Syad
So
plus
that
Nadi.
Nadi Matrikaha.
Nadi Matrika
That would
is a
be
single word. Yes.
What does that mean?
Nadi Matrika, mother, called as river mother.
Mother.
River mother. A river mother. Yeah. Nadi Matrika. Then Papan Nivarayati.
Papat
Nivaryati.
Yes, Papat
Freedom
plus
from
Nivarayati.
Papa.
Yeah, Papan Nivarayati.
Tik plus ambara. Tik plus ambara. Everybody will speak like this.
Not everyone unmute. Please raise your hand. I will call your name. You please unmute. Dik plus ambara. That's right. Dik plus ambaraha. Digambaraha. Jashtva Sandhi. Let me call the name and then you can unmute, because if everybody unmutes, then I hear a lot of noise. So. Jyoti Bhagini. Vagdanam. Not able to unmute. See if you can unmute now.
Namaste, Mahoday. Vagdanam, Vak adikam danam, Jashtva Sandhi.
Correct. Vak plus danam, Jashtva Sandhi. Annie Mary Mahoday.
Namaste. Shat darshanam, Shat darshanam.
Yes, Shat plus darshanam, Shat darshanam, Jashtva Sandhi. Dhanyavadaha. So I'll check that the kinna should be the wrong word. I will check, post the right word there. Astu. So we continue the Patha. Okay, so Chatva Sandhi is not there in your Pustaka, but still we will have to know this, because we have been seeing the Jashtva where we have the Swara or Mridu Vyanjana. What if you have a Karkasha Vyanjana? The main Sandhi that happens when you have a Mridu Vyanjana is Jashtva. Same way, when there is a Karkasha Vyanjana following, the main Sandhi that happens is Chatva Sandhi. It is not covered in the Pustaka, but please know the Sandhi. So Chartva has a name Char. There is the word Char in the name. So Char means all the first letter of the Varga. So Ka, Cha, Ta, Ta, Pa. The Varga Prathamas, they are called as Char Varna. Okay. So whenever you have a Karkasha Vyanjanam following, if you remember what is Karkasha Vyanjana, we saw the other day, Ka, Kha, Cha, Cha, Ta, 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 Tha, Pa, Pa, the first 2 letters of all the 5 Varga, and Sha, Sha, Sa. These are called as the hard consonants, the Karkasha Vyanjana. So whenever there is a hard consonant following, what happens? The previous Vargiya Vyanjana will get converted into the first Varna. Okay, so it will get converted into Varga Prathama. So this is important, the main Sandhi whenever Karkasha Vyanjana follows. Just like Jashtva, wherever you have the Karkasha Vyanjanam, this Sandhi will happen, Chartva will happen. Okay, so we'll see example. Tad plus Kalaha. So Kakara is a Karkasha Vyanjana. So you have Tad plus Kala will be Tat Kalaha. Okay, so you can't say Tad Kala. Tad Kala is a wrong form. Tat Kalaha. Because it is followed by Karkasha Vyanjana, the previous Vargiya Vyanjana will always get converted into its first corresponding letter in that Varga. Ud plus Patati, you will have Utpatati. Utpatati. Sampad plus Patihi. So you have Pakara, which is Karkasha Vyanjana. So Sampad will become Sampat. takara. Okay, so sampat plus pati, sampatpatihi. The dakara will get converted into the first letter, sampatpatihi. Mahad plus karyam, so you will have mahat karyam. Okay, so dakara, the dakara, because it is followed by karkasha vyanjana, it should get converted into the first letter. So mahat karyam. Bhishag pashyati. Bhishag pashyati, the gakara followed by karkasha vyanjana, which is pakara, will be bhishak pashyati. Bhishak pashyati. Okay, so this is all. I have not added more examples. It's very clear. When you have a karkasha vyanjana and any vargiya vyanjana is the purva varna. Forget the fifth letters. Okay, always remember the first four letters on the left side. You have karkasha vyanjana following. Then these first four will tend to get converted into the first letter. So when mridu vyanjana follows, third letter, jashtva is the adesha. When karkasha vyanjana follows, predominantly chartva will happen. You will have the first letter as the previous letter. The adesha will be the first letter. Okay, so we move on to the next last sandhi we have in the pustaka, Chatva Sandhi. Okay, so Chatva Sandhi, Chatvam represents chakara. Okay, now Chatva, by Chatva Sandhi we give the chakara as adesha. Chakara comes as adesha in the place of shakara. In the place of talavya shakara, you will have the chakara adesha when you have ka cha ta ta pa. Now if you see the purva varna, you have the shakara following, which is a karkasha vyanjana. Because karkasha vyanjana is following, obviously whatever was the purva varna, it will now get converted into the first letter by the previous Chatva Sandhi. Okay, so that is why you always see the ka cha ta ta pa following the shakara. Why only purva varna is taken as the first varna? Because of Chatva Sandhi niyama, shakara, because it is following, shakara as a karkasha vyanjana. So because shakara is following, obviously the previous vargiya vyanjanam will get converted into the first letter. That is why you see the purva varna only as ka cha ta ta pa. Okay, all the other sandhis we saw the first four letters. Here purva varna is not the first four. Why? Because shakara is following. It is a karkasha vyanjanam. Because you have a karkasha vyanjanam, it gets converted into first letter by Chatva Sandhi, which we saw previously. So the purva varna is ka cha ta ta pa, and you have the shakara, and you also have one more rule here. This shakara should be followed by swara or ya va ra la mana. Okay, so you will have the shakara, which is a sthani. This sthani will get converted into chakara, that is the adesha, when only if the purva varna is the first varna and the following varna, the purva varna will be the first by chartvam. Following varna should be a swara. After the shakara, I mean, after the shakara, you should have either a swara or ya, ba, ra, la, ma or na. Any of these letters. Okay, then shakara is replaced by chakara. So atra shakarasya sthane chakarasya adeshaha vikalpena bhavati. So Chatva Sandhi is again a vikalpa sandhi. Okay, so it is not a nitya sandhi. It is a vikalpa sandhi. Wherever we have a vikalpa sandhi, it means we will have two forms, right? So one when we do it and one when we don't do it, right? So rupa dvayam. So we'll see one example for kakara, padanta kakara. So vak plus shuraha. So vak plus shuraha. So you have the kakara followed by the karkasha vyanjana shakara, and shakara in shuraha you have ishu and vu, which means shakara is followed by a swara. So three conditions should be satisfied. Purva varna is your first varna. Then you have a shakara. You should have a shakara which is a sthani, and this shakara should be followed by a swara or ya, va, ra, la, ma, na. Okay, so here you have a swara. In shuraha you have a following swara. So now you can replace the shakara with chakara. So vakchuraha. Vakchuraha. Again, as it is a vikalpa sandhi, you need not do the chakara desha, in which case it will be vakshuraha. By chartvam, it will always be vakshuraha. Right? So no adesha there. So vakchuraha atava vakshuraha. Then we take a padanta takara. Example, shat plus shuraha. Again you have a takara which is the first varna followed by shakara, And again in Shura, you know there is a Ukara. The Swara is following the Shakara. So we have Shat plus Shakara now will be replaced with Chakara by Chatva Sandhi. So we'll have Shat Churaha. Shat Churaha. Otherwise, if this is a Vikalpa Sandhi, when you don't do it, it will stay Shat Churaha with Chartva Sandhi. That is also Shat Churaha. So either Shat Churaha, otherwise you will have the Shakara with the replaced with the Chakara and you will have Shat Churaha. Now, these are simple examples where you directly take the Chakara, put it in the place of Shakara. Now, we will see when a series of Sandhi can happen in certain cases. So, one such case is where we'll have the Takara or Dakara. You take the Takara or Dakara, we'll have Jagat plus Sharanyaha. So, in this case, Jagat plus Sharanyaha, you know, Tavarga comes in yoga with Shakara, then you will have to do the Chutva first. Okay, so forget Jashtvam because the following Varna is Shakara, which is a Karkasha Vyanjana. Jashtvam will not happen, right? So now next we have the Chutva Sandhi. So Jagach plus Sharanyaha. Okay, so you do the Chutva, we end up with the word Jagat Sharanyaha. Now in Jagat Sharanyaha, you have the Chakara, the first Varna, then you have the Shakara, which is followed by a Swara. Now this condition is ideal for Chatva Sandhi to happen, right? So Chatva Sandhi says you will have the Varga Prathama followed by Shakara followed by Swara or Yavarala Mana, right? So here you have a Swara following the Shakara, so it is ideal for Chatva. So you can replace the Shakara with Chakara. So you have one more Rupa, Jagat Charanyaha. Okay, so here you will have two Rupas. One is Jagat Sharanyaha with Chutva Sandhi and Jagat Charanyaha with Chatva Sandhi. Okay, so when you have a Karkasha Vyanjana following, look for Chutva and Shtutva, right? You will have that Sandhi, Chutva only, you will not have the Shtutvam. Chutva, because of the presence of Shakara, you might have the Chutva Sandhi taking place, and then you can check for the Nimitta for the Chatva Sandhi, right? Now, there is one more case, we will see. Okay, we'll see the Tad. Okay, one more example with Takara and Dakara. Tad plus Shariram. Again, Tad plus Shariram, you have the Dakara, Tavarga letter coming in yoga with Shakara. Then you will have the Chutvam, Taj plus Shariram. So, Taj plus Shariram. Then you will have the Chartvam. See, if you have the third letter is there on the left side, you have a Karkasha Vyanjana. Always remember when Karkasha Vyanjana follows, we will have the first letter, okay, by Chartva Sandhi. So, Tach plus Shariram. Tach plus Shariram. Then you have Tach, and then now you have the Shakara followed by Akara. So, you have the Varga Prathama, Shakara and a Swara, which means you can replace the Shakara with the Chakara. So you will have Tachariram. Tachariram. So arrive at Tad, from Tad plus Shariram to arrive at Tachariram, you have to know all two Sandhis, Chutva Sandhi and Chartva Sandhi. Okay, so let us do step by step. You should know the order of Sandhi. We will anyway be seeing the order later after completing all these 5 Sandhis. So remember, Sandhis have to be performed in a particular order which you should remember, right? So they might Tad plus Shariram, if you see directly, it will be like the Nimitta is there for Chutva to happen, Nimitta is there for Chatva to happen, Nimitta is also there for Chatva to happen, but you will have to do the Sandhis in order so that you arrive at the right form, otherwise we will end up with the wrong form. So you have Tach plus Shariram. So Tad plus Shariram will be Tachariram. Since this Chatvam is optional Sandhi, you can stop at this place where we do the Chartva, right? So you can stop at the place where we do Chartva, which is Tachariram. That is one valid Rupa. If you do Chatvam, it is another valid Rupa, which is Tachariram. Okay. So before doing Chatva, whatever is the final form, that is one answer. And after you do Chatva, you replace Shakara with Chakara, you end up with another answer. So you will have Rupa Dvayam. Now, so with the Takara, we saw that Chutva, Chatva can happen. Now we also have one more condition where this Nakara and Shakara coming in yoga. Okay, so when you have a Nakara and Shakara, there is a Vikalpa Takara Agama. In the case of a Padanta Nakara, Padanta means it should be a complete word. Okay, not in between a word. A complete word ending in na when it is followed by sha. Just ideally we will see what will happen when there is a na and sha coming together. When there is a na plus sha case, what happens? A takara will come as an optional rule. Okay, so you have a takara agama. So we have been seeing adesha. So now we see agama. Agama means mitravata agamaha. So a new letter comes and sits along with the existing letters. It doesn't replace any existing letter. It will come and sit along with the existing letters. So when there is a combination of padanta nakara shakara in plus ish, in that case, first you also have an option. This is another option, right? This is one form. You will have a takara agama. This is a vikalpa agama. You either do or you don't do. So a takara comes and sits in between nakara and shakara. Now what happens? Now if you see there is it and ish, Chutva can happen here. It will result in plus ich plus ish. The takara gets converted into chakara, right? Now, if you consider the in and ich, the first two, here again you can have Chutva, right? So what will happen? Finally, you end up with ny, which is adesha in the place of nakara due to Chutvam, ish plus ich. So this we are seeing because we are going to have a word ending with nakara and a word with shakara. What will ideally happen? This is one form. Okay, what will ideally in and ish, you know, Chutva will happen. That you already know. Now there is also one other rule where you can have a tugagama when especially nakara and shakara comes together. This is only for the case of padanta nakara plus shakara. It's a takara agama, not tugagama. Sorry, that's a takara agama. Okay, so takara comes in between na and sha. If na between in and ish, if a takara comes and sits, then you will have this option of having chutva both on the last two varna and the first two varna. Okay, so finally you will end up with nya, cha and sha. So these three varna comes in order. Now if you see, you have a chakara and shakara which is ideal for Chatva Sandhi to happen, right? You have the Varga Prathama followed by the shakara, and if you have a swara or a yara lava mana following, then you can do Chatva in this case also. Okay, so to arrive at this place, we have been seeing the example. So we will see one word. What happens when we have a Padanta Nakara and Shakara? Mahan plus Shabdaha. So as I told you, all these examples are given in your Pustaka. Okay, so Mahan plus Shabdaha. So this is the word. Now what happens in the case of Mahan plus Shabdaha? So we saw there is a possibility of Takara coming and sitting as Agama in between in and ish. We saw that. So Mahan plus it plus Shabdaha. There is a Takara Agama. This is a Vikalpa Agama. So this is one form. Now when this Takara comes and sits, we know that between Takara and Shakara you do the Chutva. Between the last two varna, Takara and Shakara of Shabda, we do the Chutva Sandhi. Takara gets converted into the first letter Chakara. Now in Mahan plus Ich, you will have the Chutva again. We saw this in the previous slide. So we end up with this word Mahan plus Ich plus Shabdaha. So two times Chutva happens when this Takara comes and sits in the middle. One in the last part and then in the first part. Now you have this combination. There is a Mahan plus Ich plus Shabdaha. Now if you see Ich plus Shabda part alone, you see. So there is Ich, Prathama, Varga Prathama, followed by a Shakara, followed by a Swara. In Shabdaha you have Ishu and A. Right? So you have Chakara followed by Shakara and then you have the Swara also, which is ideal for Chatva Sandhi to happen. Now what happens? Shakara is getting converted to Chakara. Okay, so Mahan, Ich and Shabdaha becomes Chabdaha by Chatva Sandhi. Now it doesn't stop here. Now consider these three letters I, Ich and Chakara. Okay, so before that, okay, so it still has one more step to arrive at the final form. Before that, we will see what will happen if this takara agama doesn't happen. As I told you, the first step takara agama is a optional case. So if the takara agama is not done, it's a straight chutva, right? You do the chutva sandhi mahan plus shabdaha, chutva sandhi mahan shabdaha. Okay, so that is one rupa. Okay, so direct chutvam, you end up with mahan shabdaha. Now after you get the takara agama, you do chutva twice and then you do the chatva. After this chatva, you have this iyo ichu sha, as I told you. Now what happens, we will see. Just consider this alone, the inyu, ichu and the chakara. What will happen? Now there is one case where you have a vyanjana, some vyanjana A followed by some vyanjana B, and then the third vyanjana C, which is nothing but which belongs to the varga of B, which means the B and C, they belong to the same varga. Okay, so they are called savarna varnas. Okay, so when they belong to the same varga, if you say ka, kha, ga, ga, nga, these 5 letters are savarna varnas of each. Ka is a savarna of kha, ga is a savarna of kha, right? All these 5 are savarna, we say. Okay, they all belong to the same family or something like that you keep. So savarna is it's a sanya in vyakarana. We will not go in deep into it. It's just that they all belong to the same family or varga. Okay, so you have chakara and chakara following. So when this is the case, so the case for this lopa sandhi is happening here. So when does it lopa happen? When there is some vyanjana A followed by some vyanjana B and followed by a vyanjana C, where B and C belong to the same varga. B and C should belong to the same varga. If that is the case, then we do the lopa of the B varna. The middle one is lost. We will have the first one vyanjana A and the last vyanjana C. Okay, so this is a lopa sandhi. This is not covered in the pustaka. So we will not go deeper into it. The rule is this: you will have vyanjana A, B and C, and B, C should belong to the same varga. In that case, you can have B eliminated. You can have you'll be left out with A and C. So in this case, you have mahan plus ich plus shabdaha. Where you have ich and cha. The mahaprana chakara and the alpaprana chakara, they both belong to the same varga. They are savarna varna. So in that case, vikalpena lopa. Again, this lopa is by vikalpa. So you can cut off the middle chakara. So you will end up with the word mahan chabdaha. This is the final form. Okay, so after doing chatva and all this series of steps, you arrive at this one form, which is mahan chabdaha. Okay, so finally, now if you see, so after this chatvam, you end up with mahan chabdaha by doing the vikalpa lopa of the chakara. Okay, the middle varna is lost and you do mahan chabdaha. Chandaha, sorry, it's chanda I have written, shabdaha, I'll change it. So mahan chabdaha is the answer. Okay, so you have 2 rupas now. So one is mahan shabdaha and mahan, this is shabda, I will change it, it's chanda written wrongly, chabdaha. Understood? So this is a special case wherein you have a padanta nakara followed by a word starting with sha. Okay, so in plus sha combination. Okay, there is a in, padanta nakara. It's not in the middle of the word, it's a padanta nakara followed by shakara. What happens? Direct chutva, first step, you get one answer, straight chutva. Otherwise, you bring in a takara as agama between the nakara and the shakara. Now you will have twice chutva, one between the takara, shakara, and then after the adesha chakara comes in, you will have between the nakara and the chakara, you will have chutva twice and you will be left with 3 varna. In that case, you will have the shakara replaced by the mahaprana chakara by chatva sandhi, right? Chatva sandhi niyama falls into place. So you will have the shakara replaced by chakara. Now again you are left with 3 varna. First is a vyanjana, second is a vyanjana, third is a savarna vyanjana of the second one. Meaning second and the third belong to the same varga. In that case, you remove the middle one, middle varna. So you are left with the first and the last vyanjana. You arrive at one form. Okay, so this is one form given in the pustaka. So you end up with mahan shabdaha atava mahan chabdaha with the chakara, chatva sandhis chakara. So till now, is it clear? You have any doubts here? You can ask.
Bhagini, in that slide, Jakara is Mritu Vyanjana, Nikila. Karkasha Nasti, 3-4 slides before this one.
You're not talking about this case, right?
Not this case. We did in the. I didn't want to interfere in the middle. So
No
we
problem.
just go.
I'll check. Maybe I would have made a mistake. No, not a problem.
No,
Kutra?
no. I was just feeling doubtful. 1 minute. Yeah.
Here.
We go to the next one. Here.
Huh.
No. Yeah. That ja. No.
This is Adesha. This Jakara is Adesha.
Mm.
In the place of Dakara, by Chutva Sandhi, you get the Jakara. This is
Yeah,
Adesha.
but Chatvam we can't come, no? Ja.
For Chartvam, what is the rule? The following letter should be a Karkasha Vyanjana. This should be one of the first four letters.
Okay. Got it.
You understand?
I was just messed up. I was just thinking,
No problem. Okay, so initially it is like that. It takes time to sink in, especially Chatva takes time. Okay, but you will get it, so not a problem. Fine. So till this step, so if you have any doubts, you can ask. Otherwise, the same Nakara and Shakara, we will see one more example. So we saw Mahan plus Shabdaha. Assuming you understood, let us go to the next example with the same Padanta Nakara and Shakara. You have one more word which is Dhavan plus Shashaha. So you have Dhavan plus Shashaha. Again Nakara, Padanta Nakara with Shakara. So two cases. One is direct Chutva and one answer. Otherwise what you can do, bring in a Takara as Agama between Na and Sha. Do Chutvam twice. One at the end and one in the first two cases. You know which one to club. You do it the Chutva twice and then check if there is a possibility for doing the Chatva Sandhi. After Chatva Sandhi, if you have three letters, three Vyanjanas, okay, three Vyanjanas coming together, there if the second and the third Vyanjana are belonging to the same row, same Varga, then there is a possibility of doing the Lopa of the middle Varna and you end up with the final form. That is all. So we will see Dhavan plus Shashaha, Dhavan plus It plus Shasha. Yes, Sriram Mohode. You have a question? Okay, if you have a question, you can unmute. Otherwise, please stay on mute. We will see the example. Dhavan plus It plus Shashaha. Then Dhavan plus Ich. So it becomes Ich. Then you have Chutva, right? So you will have Dhamai plus Ich plus Shashaha. Then you have Dhamai Ich. Then Chatva Sandhi in the place of Shakara. Because Shashaha, you have the Swara following. You should look at that also. While you are doing Chatvam, please look at the Swara which is following the Shakara. It should be a Swara or it should be any of these Vyanjana. If any other, say Yara, Lava, Mana, if there are any other letters apart from these Vyanjana, then you can't do. It should be either any of the Swara or these particular Vyanjanas which is written in that Nimitta in the box, right? So you do the Chatva, Chakara Adesha. And then Vikalpa Lopa, because Cha and Cha, they belong to the same Varga, and you also have so you should have three Vyanjanas ideally. For this Sandhi to happen, this Lopa Sandhi, you need three Varna. First one can be any Hal Varna. The second and the third, they should belong to the same row, okay, same Varga. Then you delete the second one, you end up with two forms. So here you will have the direct Chutva, Dhamai Chashaha, Dhamai Shashaha, or you will have Dhamai Chashaha. I think many people have raised your hands. I don't know if it's a doubt or let me. 1 second. Let me unmute one of you. Sribas Mahoday, you have a question or? Ranjani Bhagini.
I found the near Takar Ragama. So, and Ta is added to the Dhavan and Shasha.
Agama means a new letter comes and sits along with the existing letters. When there is a Padanta Nakara and the word starting with shakara, in plus ish. If that is the case, then you can have a takara
Then
agama.
Hindu.
Then in plus it
When
plus
na and
yes,
sha are
only
there.
for na. Yes, only for in plus sha condition, not for the
Okay,
others.
okay, thank you.
Padanta
Okay, thank
nakara
you.
plus shakara. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Astu. Any other questions? I mean, let me unmute. Padmavati Bhagini, you have a question? Dr. Prakash Mohini Bhargava Mahini. Mahoday?
No, Dhavan Shasha means running rabbit.
Yes, running rabbit, yes. Running rabbit, exactly. Jyoti Bhagini, you have a question? Okay, I lower all your hands. So if you have a doubt, you please raise your hand. Otherwise, because so many people have raised your hand. So. Okay. So udaharanam, shloka udaharanam. So nahi prapashyami mamapanudyat yachhokamuchhoshanam indriyanam. This is again a part of shloka from the Bhagavad Gita. So yachhokamuchhoshanam indriyanam. So you have yat plus shokam. So you will have the Chutva, then Yach Shokam, then you do the Chatva Sandhi, Yachokam. Same way, Ut plus Shoshanam. So Ut plus Shoshanam, Uchoshanam, then Uchoshanam. Right? You have the Chatva Sandhi in these words. Yachreyah syan nishchitam bruhitanme shishyasteham shadhimamtam. Again a part of shloka from the Bhagavad Gita. Yachreyah. So this is one example. Yat plus Shreyah. So if you see Yat plus Shreya, in Shreya you have Ishu and Ra. All these places we saw Shabda, we saw the words Shashaha, right? Shakara. With the following, with the Shakara word, the words which started with Shakara, they all had Swara following. Shreyaha, you have the Ra following. Ya, Ra, Lava, Mana. As I told you, Shakara can either be followed by Swaras or you need to have any of these 6 Varna. Halanta, the Vyanjana following. So in Shreyaha, you have Ishu and Ir. Okay, so you have a Rakara following and you can do the Chatva. So Yat plus Shreyaha, then Yach plus Shreyaha, then Yachreyaha by Chatva Sandhi. Asankheyo Prameyatma Vishishta Shishtakruchuchihi. So from this Vishnu Sahasranama, Shishtakruchuchihi. So you have Shishtakrit plus Shuchihi. So everywhere you have the condition for Chutva Sandhi first, right? You have a It and a Sha. So do the Chutva first and then you go for the Chatva Sandhi. Sarvatra Chutvam Tadanantaram Chatvam. Okay. So these are few examples. Okay, Abhyasa. Can we do the Abhyasa? Yes, we will do some sentence, otherwise we might forget. We will do. So Kaveri Sahya Parvatat Udeti. So you will have to see where there are Sandhi or done and you have to split them. So you can raise your hands. Yes. Padmavati Bhagini. Can you unmute? Kaveri Sahya Parvatat Udeti. I think you are on unmute only. You can speak. Padmavati Bhagini. Shruyate. Shyamala Bhagini.
Namaste Mahodaya. Kaveri Sahya Parvatat Udeti.
Yes. So
Udeti,
Kaveri.
that is Jasva Sandhi.
Jasva Sandhi. Kaveri Sahya Parvatat Udeti. So
Udeti.
Sahya Parvata. So Kaveri rises from the Sahya mountain, Sahyadri mountain. So this is Jasva Sandhi alone here. Sahya Parvatat. So the next one is Dr. Shrivas. Yes. Others can have chance. Dhanyavada. Markata Vitapat Vitapam Utpatanti.
Mahoday, Markata Vitapam Utpatanti.
अत्रापि जस्त्व सन्धि.
Exactly. Okay. So vitapat vitapam. So it jumps from one branch to another. Vitapat vitapam jashtva sandhi vitapad vitapam. So when you do the sandhi, make sure you write them together. Right. So vitapat vitapam, two separate pada. After you do the sandhi, you write it as a single pada. Then third one, Mangala Bhagini.
अजात् दशरथः दशरथात् राम.
You are telling the answer, or you first read the sentence and then you can
okay. अस्तु भगिनि. अजात् दशरथो दशरथात् राम इति वंशपरम्परा. अजात् दशरथः तत्र जस्त्वसन्धि. दशरथात् रामः तदपि जस्त्वसन्धि इति वंशपरम्परा.
Okay, yes, you are right. So Ajat Dasharatha, Dasharathat Rama. Okay, so this is a Vamsha Parampara from Aja Dasharatha and from Dasharatha Rama. So this is the lineage. Okay. So
Dvayamapi Jastvasandhi.
Jastvasandhi, ha. I am not able to unmute most of you. I don't know why. Sriram Mahoday.
Mark, can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, please. Yes.
Okay. Markandeyam Rakshitum Lingachi Chavaha Lingachiva Avirabhuta Avirabhut Markandeyam Rakshitum Lingachiva Avirabhuta Bhut Lingachiva, that would be Lingat Shiva.
Correct.
Which would become from, but then you go to the conversion to Ling Cha, which is the Shutvam, then the Chatva.
Chatva and Chatva. Right.
Chatva
so
and
Markandeyam, yes, Markandeyam Rakshitum Lingat Shivaha Avirabhut. So the first you do the Chatva and then the Chatva. Remember the order, please.
Right.
To protect Markandeya, Shiva emerged from the Linga. Lingati Shivaha Avirabhut. Fine.
Avirabhut.
Yeah. Yes. The next one. Tachrutva Sita Nitaram Ahrishyatu. So, Jyoti Bhagini.
Tachrutva Sita Nitaram Ahrishyat. Tat Shrutva, Tat Shrutva, Tat Jashtva Bhavati, Tadanantaram, Dakarah Stani.
Shrutva, no, Jashtva will not happen. Jashtva cannot happen. Where? Only
okay, Shrutva.
So Mridu Vyanjana only Jashtva will happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Dakarah Shtutvam iti bhavati chet Dakarah Jakarah bhavati. तदनन्तरं परवर्णे शकारः वित् रेपः अस्ति अतः चकारः आगच्छति
Chatva-sandhi bhavati. Right. So Tattva plus Shrutva. Okay. So Tattva plus Shrutva again. You will have the first Chutva-sandhi. So Tat becomes Tach. Then you will have the Chatva-sandhi. Right. So you have the Shakara followed by the Rakara, the Repa. So you have the Chatva-sandhi. Tachrutva. So hearing that, upon hearing that, Sita Nitaram Ahrishyat. She was extremely delighted. Then Nala Jalam Agachati. Prakash Mohini.
Nalat Jalam Agachati. Nalat Jalam Agachati. So this is Chartvam and then Only Chatva.
Chartvam, no. Chartvam cannot happen, no. Chartvam will happen when you have
Cha. Acha, Chutvam, sorry. Chutvam. Nalat jalam. Tavarg and chavar.
Nalat plus jalam, you have ta and ja. Ja is a mridu vyanjana. Right? So paravarna is a mridu vyanjana. Whenever you have a mridu vyanjana, look for the first sandhi you should look for is jashtva.
Yes.
So nalad plus jalam. Then you will have id and ij. In that case, id plus ij. You will have the Chatva Sandhi. So nalad jalam. Understood? So whenever you have, look at the paravarna first. If you look at the paravarna and if it is a mridu vyanjanam, then you know the rule. Please stay on mute, I hear echo. So if you have mridu vyanjana, then please check if jashtvam can happen. Shchutva, shtutva, we saw that in the first slide previously we saw. If there is a mridu vyanjana, look at the possibility for doing jashtva and then shchutva, shtutva and then anunasika. We saw all these three. Okay, so in jalam case, the jakara is a mridu vyanjana. So you will first have jashtva nalad jalam and then dakara and jakara you will have the shchutva sandhi nalad jalam. So nalad jalam agachati, the water comes from the tap. Okay, so I'll quickly complete this. Anybody else who wishes to unmute? Mahalakshmi Bhagini.
Namaste.
Vidyut udbhavati.
Meghat jashtvam. Vidyut again jashtvam. Udbhavati.
Udbhavati, yes. So meghat vidyut udbhavati. So you have jashtva in both these places, right? So from the meghat,
I have a question. Utpatati is pratamam jashvam bhavati tadanantaram chartvam, no?
Utpatati, ud is the upasarga. Utpatati word is formed from upasarga ud and patati, right? Ud plus patati. In that case, you have the pakara which is karkasha vyanjana. So, id will become it. The starting point is ud here. The upasarga is ud. Ud plus patati, you will have utpatati. Because of chartva.
There also then chartvam, is it?
Chartvameva. Chartvameva. Only chartva.
But we didn't say that sandhi. Utpatati.
Utpatati, Chartva Sandhi. We saw an example in Chartva Sandhi, no? Utpatati we saw. Ud plus patati, utpatati.
Dhanyavada.
Astu. Okay. Prema Bhagini. The next one. Namaste. So, Bhishagroginam Chikitsati.
Bhishagroginam.
So, Bishak is a doctor, Rogi is a patient, Chikitsati is Chikitsa, is giving treatment.
Bhishagroginam Chikitsati. It is initially Bishak Pratamaksharam. It becomes Bishag Tritiyaksharam because of Jasva Sandhi.
Right. So, Bhishagroginam, Bishak plus Roginam, Bhishagroginam by Jasva Sandhi. The doctor treats the patient. Okay. Dhanyavadaha. Then Kanya Kupad Jalamanayati. Kupad Jalamanayati. Vaidehi Bhagini. Sorry, I have not raised your hand. Okay, I'll call people who have raised their hands. Pungudi Bhagini. Kanya Kupad. Namaste.
Kanya Kupad Jalam Anayati. Kanya Kupat Jalam Anayati. Pahale Kupat Jastva Sandhi. Anandaram Sutva Sandhi.
Chutva Sandhi. Yes, so you will have Jashtva first and then Kupat plus Jalam, Kupad plus Jalam, then Kupad Jalam by Chutva Sandhi. So Kupa is well, so the girl brings water from the well. The last one. Trinadapi Tulo Laguhu. Okay. Only few people have raised. So Pungadi Bhagini, please try. Trinadapi Tulo Laguhu.
Trinatapi Tulo Lagugu. Trinat Abhi Tulaga Lagugu. Trinat. Chhatva Sandhi.
So Trinat plus Api. Yes, so Trina is a grass. So yeah. So cotton is lighter than a grass. So Trinat Api, Trinadapi by Jashtva Sandhi. Okay, so we'll stop here. Okay, so we will continue. We will have few more exercises done in the next class. So I will upload few abhyasa for this all these sandhis covered till now. So we have completed the sandhi patha. So all these 5 sandhis are there in the pustaka. I will upload few answers, few questions for as practice exercise. Okay, so we meet on Friday. Dhanyavadaha. If you have any questions, you can ask. Otherwise, you can leave. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्